Elizabeth Warren one is ridiculous. You're watching her dance, and you're like, how dare you say I can't make fun of this? How dare you?
How dare you? Obviously, it's... And by the way, it's not like somebody put up a cell phone video of her dancing at a wedding.
Right,
no one's
right,
going to make... No one's... That's okay. She's on stage trying to get something from people, and she thinks this will...
Liz Warren blasted the Supreme Court for declaring affirmative action unconstitutional. She's been carrying a grudge against white people ever since she was exposed as one. Let's hope she doesn't go on the warpath. Ooh, yeah. Don't take those blankets.
Nothing screams political satire like Elizabeth Warren trying to rebrand herself every time an election rolls around. One day she's the people's champion. The next she's gunning for the top spot at Woke Inc. Then along come Joe Rogan and Greg Gutfeld, ready to tear through the act with pinpoint accuracy. They didn't just crack jokes, they tore down the whole show, exposing her greatest hits of high-level hypocrisy. This roast isn't soft. It's a full-blown storm of sarcasm and brutal truth.
Was always calling her Pocahontas, and Trump said that if she...
Elizabeth Warren, who Pocahontas? Is
very offensive.
Oh, I'm sorry about that. Pocahontas?
She got into Harvard because she claimed she was Native American.
She said she was Native American, but she wasn't able to document it. She said, well, I have high cheekbones. I think she's as Native.
Senator Elizabeth Warren just released a campaign ad disguised as a DNA test. Or maybe it was a DNA test disguised as a campaign ad. In it, she ladles her DNA results with somber relatives and music, and even includes me. I'm touched, but that happens every time.
Elizabeth Warren's political journey is like one of those miracle diet shakes big promises. But all you end up with is bloat and disappointment. She marched into D.C. like the next progressive superstar, armed with charts, graphs, and more. Plans than an IKEA catalog, but somehow, every roadmap led straight to political dead ends. Joe Rogan and Greg Gutfeld didn't even have to stretch. One glance at her record, a quick laugh at the Harvard legend, and the roast was off to the races.
I don't know if you saw this, but Elizabeth Warren got confronted.
Big Pharma since 2020, the reason why you don't want RFK Jr. suing Big Pharma.
She got confronted about the amount of money that she's received from pharmaceutical drug companies. She said she's never received any money from pharmaceutical drug companies and never received any monies from any PACs.
I don't take contributions from Big Pharma executives. I don't take any corporate PAC money, and you and your allies already know that.
And then, of course, underneath it, Community Notes strikes again. And of course, she received millions.
It's tough to take someone seriously when their presidential run started with the emotional claim that she might be kind of, sort of, Native American, if you squint hard enough at her family tree through a cracked microscope. It was political, roleplay on expert mode. Rogan didn't even have to roast it. Warren did the job herself with a DNA test that flopped so hard. It could have been a skit from Ancestry.gov, single quotes S comedy branch. Meanwhile, Greg Gutfeld jumped in, joking that her best shot at winning voters was showing up like Pocahontas giving a PowerPoint on tax reform.
Her Native American ancestry may date back 6 to 10 generations. She's potentially 1/1024th Indian, which is 0.09%. Using such standards, I'm Asian, which is why I can't get into Harvard. So no wonder she had to rely on sentiment and victimhood. But this really isn't about history, but her story, and fixing it because it's a mess. Did she or did she not list herself as a minority in law school directories when it suited her, then removed it when it didn't? It's not about her background, it's about cheating. She's a white woman of vast European ancestry who went to the buffet of identity politics and took seconds.
Then there's her war on billionaires. Elizabeth Warren went after the rich like a stage actor in a low-budget play called Robin Hood's Revenge. Tax the tech brothers, but somehow forgot she's surrounded by millionaires in her own party. Her anti-wealth speeches felt less like a revolution and more like a Harvard professor scolding a yacht club over too many AWH dervs. Rogan called out the irony how she claimed to fight for the little guy while packing her campaign with elite donors and Wall Street leftovers. Gutfeld joked her tax plan had the accuracy of a toddler tossing crayons at a dartboard.
That thing about Elizabeth Warren, I did find out what percentage she is. Elizabeth Warren, who claimed to be Native American, and she did a test. She's like 1/100th of what I am. Like, it's literally like her saying she's a Native American is literally like me saying I'm African American. But I have more of a claim. I have far more, like more than, I think some insane number, like factor of more African in me, and she has Native American. And I'm not even remotely Native American, or remotely African, rather.
Yeah.
I'm 1.6%. I have 1.6% African, and she has like some really stupid.
She claimed to speak for the middle class, but her policies read like they were scribbled on the back of a Whole Foods receipt. Her take on empathy was all buzzwords and lectures about structural change, while most voters just wanted steady work and a sandwich they could actually afford. Joe Rogan nailed the comparison. Warren talks about the economy like a vegan talks about kale, loud, nonstop, and totally out of touch. Gutfeld called it financial fan fiction and joked that the only revolution she sparked was how fast people flipped the channel when she showed up.
Native American princess who gave up truth-telling to cash in on telling more lies. In her latest fundraising email, she brings up how she was visibly pregnant when, quote, the president told her the job would go to someone else. It's another story in which she portrays herself as the oppressed, faking victimhood to gain an edge over others, including real victims. However, her pregnant victim story fell apart when school board records obtained by the Free Beacon shows the school offered her a new contract. She quit anyway, backing up the tale she told back in 2007 when she said she left.
Let's not forget the time Warren tried to connect with everyday people by awkwardly live streaming herself drinking a beer like it was some kind of holy ritual. It felt like watching your grandma try to go viral on TikTok. She was clearly aiming for a relatable moment and ended up starring in a meme. Rogan ripped it apart, saying it had all the realness of a fake sock commercial. Then Gutfeld landed a smooth hit. Warren doesn't drink beer. She sips policy papers through a kale straw. Her speaking style, comedy gold. Rogan joked it's like watching someone argue with an Excel sheet. Gutfeld added she sounds like a teacher scolding students for not reading while they're just trying to find the snack table.
Yeah.
Oh no! Oh no! She keeps
so
doing
stiff.
this.
She looks like her back is welded. Like it's all one
She's
piece.
doing all this
like
dancing moves.
Everything is moving like this.
Yes, you're right.
Yeah. She's a robot. She's barely real.
It's about being white. You know,
that's weird because I thought she was Native American.
Well, that's what I said. So obviously Bernie's lying about saying women can't win, or Elizabeth Warren is lying about him saying that. And I'm not going to accuse a Native American of lying. I'm just not going to go there.
Good for you. She is 1/1000th Native American. So that's real. That's a real number. So
Then came her full-on scramble to be the most progressive person on the stage. Medicare for all. She was all in until she wasn't, then kind of was again. Rogan compared her health plan to a choose-your-own-adventure book where every ending led to more taxes and total confusion. Gutfeld joked it felt like a grocery receipt that never stops growing. While you're still wondering who bought the $47 cantaloupe, Warren's constant flip-flopping made her look less like a leader and more like a tightrope gymnast doing flips over a pit full of skeptical voters. Her beef with Bernie Sanders, a real show. 1 minute they're socialist teammates building sandcastles, the next she's tossing a used talking point about sexism at him on live TV. And don't forget her love for regulating everything. She wants to tear down big tech, move money around, and micromanage businesses like a suburban mom running a yard sale. Rogan torched the whole thing, calling it a fantasy plan built on economic daydreams.
Silver lining. I think she did the nation a service. We are now all Native American. This is an interesting fact from Michael Aaron. Aris? What's his name?
Aaron's.
From the GOP spokesman. Dan, he used the New York Times sourcing. The average European American is 0.18. So the average European American is actually more Native American than she is.
Wow.
Did this backfire?
I think a little bit. It is interesting that a lot of the media were treating this as her response to Trump. But remember, she's going to have to get through a Democratic primary. And I imagine that if it maybe got down to the top 10,
yes,
that her opponents were going to use this.
Gutfeld compared Warren's version of capitalism to a toddler running a hedge fund with finger paints and emotions. Her plan to fix the economy sounded less like policy and more like swapping out an engine for a dream catcher and some good vibes. Even her campaign slogan, whatever it was, felt like it came from a woke fridge magnet. Rogan joked she could have saved campaign cash by letting ChatGPT write her speeches. Gutfeld followed up, saying her charisma landed somewhere between drying paint and a weekend diversity seminar at a law firm. She kept clinging to the idea that Americans wanted a policy professor-in-chief who could lecture us through every crisis. But voters aren't looking for someone who talks down to them, they want someone who leads. Then came her "I'm one of you" moment, acting like she was a fighter from the heartland. Except her heartland was Cambridge, Massachusetts, and her idea of rebellion was shouting about corporations while shopping at ones she claimed to hate. Rogan cut through the act with pinpoint sarcasm.
Did you know Elizabeth Warren released that thing that says she's got actual Native American blood, but it's literally like 1/100,000 trillionth?
Wow.
She has like the smallest amount
Did
of...
you see what Ben Shapiro tweeted about that?
What'd he say?
Try to find it.
Your great-great-great-great-great-grandfather.
Yeah, but, and then it was something else, but I forget what it was.
We'll see if we can find it.
Yeah.
But I think I'm 1.6% African. I did one of those DNA tests.
Are you really?
Yeah.
And I'm done. See you later. I have standards.
Goodbye.
I think I'm at least 10 times more African
Than her?
she
Than
is.
she is.
And said, watching her campaign crash was like seeing someone get voted off a reality show while still insisting they were the star. Gutfeld wrapped it up by saying Elizabeth Warren's political legacy will be remembered like a PowerPoint that froze halfway through the national anthem. And yet, she still shows up now and then like a software update no one asked for. Her return to politics feels like a reboot of a cancelled series. Same story. Fewer people watching. Rogan summed it up. Nobody wanted a sequel. Gutfeld joked that Warren 2.0 might load faster but still comes with all the same glitches. Now she's clinging to the spotlight like leftover glitter on a Halloween costume. Gutfeld nailed it. She's a Broadway show with no music and all the drama, minus the plot.
Just days before the 75th anniversary of D-Day, Liz Warren said climate change is a bigger threat than whatever happened back then.
America's faced huge challenges before. World War II. Put a man on the moon. This environmental catastrophe bearing down on us may be the biggest challenge yet.
We're bigger than World War II. Imagine if she had been president on D-Day. Hey, let's call it off. The seahorses might die. She'd put the whole thing on hold until they fixed the emissions in the...
The roast doesn't stop there because Elizabeth Warren's contradictions just keep coming. Her war on big business always seems to bump into her cozy ties with elite institutions. Her fight for working families usually ends with a press conference no one even tunes into. Rogan keeps pointing out the nonsense, the fake passion, the flimsy connection to the very people she claims to fight for. Gutfeld just laughs and calls it what it really is. Government theater dressed up as activism. And so, she sticks around Washington. The kind of politician who talks nonstop but never really listens. Her ambition has no ceiling, but her appeal. It's just like her campaign: loud, narrow, and nowhere near the Oval Office. The spotlight may fade, but Rogan and Gutfeld aren't done yet. Not while there's still another plan, another cringe live stream, and another hollow moral crusade waiting to be taken down with a smirk and a savage joke. Warren acted like the queen of all things progressive. But every move she made smelled more like contradiction than conviction. She tried to brand herself as a bold underdog, but ended up sounding like a frustrated professor who lost her
numbers, because Jamie and I were trying to work it out, and we were both stupid as fuck.
Why did she release that as like C instead of going like, oh, I guess I'm not?
Because she was lying.
And she was also lied to. Probably her family was like, well, you know, we have native in us. I'm like, oh,
Yes, that does happen.
Yeah.
Like people do, like Jamie. Jamie thought he had a gang of Native American in him. He does chest.
Supposedly do. It's hard to prove, is from what I'm trying to find out.
Right.
I can't wait to do one of those tests. I just have it to see if I'm over 90%, 7% Jewish or like under 97% Jewish.
Mine is almost exactly what I thought. It's
didn't even have to try the comedy just poured out of Elizabeth. Warren's policies like a spilled latte on a Harvard cheat sheet. Her climate stunts alone could fuel a Netflix comedy special for years. The woman raged against capitalism while raking in donations from wealthy coastal elites. The irony was so thick it could have been sold at Whole Foods. Rogan laughed out loud as she talked about saving the middle class, while sipping fancy tea from a mug that probably costs more than a week's groceries in Ohio. Gutfeld came in swinging, roasting her ideas with all the grace of a chainsaw in a yoga studio, cutting up her economic plans like sad gluten-free pancakes pretending to be steak. If making a mess of your own brand was an Olympic event, Warren would have walked away with gold, silver, and a participation trophy. But she kept pushing, arms flailing on talk shows like a puppet powered by progressive guilt. Rogan just smiled and pointed out the obvious: this emperor didn't just have no clothes. She probably spent too much on them, too. The roast may